Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Freeman Focus podcast. This is season one, episode two, brought to you by our sponsor, What the Snark, your go to for custom apparel, gifts, and all things fun and creative. Located on Main Street in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. Today, I'm joined by the creative force behind it all, Melissa Wood, is a business owner, a designer, and a community builder in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. Melissa, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you got going on there in that beautiful town of Wild Rose?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on to the show. I appreciate it. Um, I just really wanted to jump in and get involved with our community a little bit more. I chose something that was a little bit less pressure by doing a print and laser shop, just for the fact of I like to be sarcastic and funny, and it just seems like everything's way too serious these days. And so I wanted a place where people could come in, forget about their problems for a little bit, have a joke, have a laugh, or whatever. And really, you can have any sort of point of view as long as you're not a bully or a jerk. Your point of view is welcome at our place. And it's just a place to have fun, I guess. So
That's awesome. I seen on your Facebook page that it said you guys create a lot of fun merchandise, but be warned because it's not for everybody. Anytime I
I
see a
have literally
warning on a website or a page, I'm like, this is a cool site.
I've literally had, like, I mean, like, 70, 80-year-old couples walk in, and I'm like, "Whoa, I don't know if this is the place for you." Like, we can be a little, like, edgy and sarcastic, and they're like, "No, no, we're fine." And then they'll be walking and be like, "Oh, oh," and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we're fine." So, we're trying to tone it down a little bit. We are
That's
family friendly.
that's okay. That's okay. All walks of life welcome, right? We'll figure it out
Absolutely.
together. We'll figure it out together. That's pretty cool. So I guess let's dive into this a little bit more. As far as our connection, we met through a mutual business friend, Tony, over at Wisconsin Backyard Sheds. She was
Love
hosting
Tony.
those like monthly events. So Iris came with the Lemex lemonade
Yeah.
truck, and that was delicious beverages. So that's kind of how we met, was because Iris works with you and alongside you. And yeah, I'm really grateful that we made that connection there.
Well, I was really impressed because I started visiting Tony a little bit more because I kept seeing all of her commercials and her videos and some of the aerial shots. And I'm like, how the heck is she doing all this really cool stuff? And I'm like, I'm going to go spy on her and see what she's doing. And I see you like running across the lawn and you're like crouching down trying to get this weird angle. And I'm like, I like that kid. He's got a lot of hustle. So, yeah, I kind of came in and checked on you because I loved what you were doing for and then sheds. I was like, well, if she can do that with sheds, right? Like that seems like a
100%.
difficult product
Right.
to market, right? And I was like, surely I can come up with something for all my sarcasm. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I was impressed with you.
Yeah, I definitely get a little creative when it comes to being behind the lens. When you capture it, it's like you're telling a story, and I'm not telling my story. I'm telling her story, or I'm telling the story of
Yeah,
the shed lot and all the craft vendors and what they got going on. So it's like you can't always get that same point of view interaction. You want to get it from like that wow side, like the side that people
right,
don't get to see. So sometimes the behind the scenes.
right.
I follow your page, so I get to see some of the fun things that you and your staff have going on over there, whether it's like water balloon fights or people are getting locked out of the front door. It's like you guys got all
Right.
kinds of goofy things happening. And then your little mascot, your staff motivator, you got that puppy, adorable dog.
Yeah.
That's
Lanky,
pretty
he's
cool.
only like a couple months old and he's fun to have around. Lifts the mood when you're having a tough day. So that's kind of fun.
A
Yeah.
man's best friend. That's what they
Yeah,
say. So
right. Yeah.
in this
We
case, a
got
woman's
plenty.
best friend, the whole team's best friend.
Right, right.
Emotional support
He's a
dog. You gotta get
yes.
it trained to be an emotional support dog so it can come with you whenever you go out to eat and stuff
He
too.
he would probably cover his eyes and go, "No, I can't handle all of this."
Unless you guys got dog treats, I'm out of here.
Right, right.
That's awesome. Let's take a look at what I got here set up for us today. As far as the creative products and apparel, let's talk about some of your business. I know you don't really like the spotlight, but you are a very big supporter within your own community, and I see that from all the things that you and Sam are constantly doing. So I think that you deserve a little spotlight, even if you don't want to be in it. Let's talk about you a little bit and what you guys have going on there. Like some new merchandise you guys are putting out there. It's spooky
Yeah.
season, so you guys got to have a lot of
Yes.
spectacular stuff.
I love Halloween. It's literally my favorite time of year. Like it's just fun, it's creative, it's colorful. How can you not be happy, right? I do have a funny story for you because you did ask me how I kind of got started with the businesses and that. I started this out of our back room at our house. So
Wow.
probably 4 or 5 years ago, and we only live in a trailer, so you know how small they are.
Right.
So we were operating all these heat presses, the printers, everything out of
Oh, that's
one room.
awesome.
And then I started glittering cups, like hand glittering, pouring them. And my husband was like, you know what? I'm just really not on board with all this. Like that glitter is going to get everywhere. And I'm like, no, no, it won't. I promise. He came home one night and I think it was like he pulled back the covers to the bed and there was this little hint of like glitter that sparkled from underneath the cover. He's like, that is it. The dog has it on his butt, and it's coming out from all over the place. It's made itself from one end of the house to the other. That's it. You're getting a building. And so
That's
that's how we've
awesome.
gotten our first building, and you've seen how small that one is. And we
It was a
outgrew it
decent
in.
size, but for as much product as you have available options, you need more space.
Well, and
Definitely.
so that's just it. We didn't really plan on growing. It's just that one, we are super, super grateful for all the support from the community and the businesses and that. And we just keep adding to it. And finally we were like bulging at the seams. And so we purchased the next building, which is what, 5 or 6 times bigger than it.
Yeah,
And
that's a lot of
we've
square
expanded our
footage.
services. It is. It's most of it's going to be production because we're going to do car wraps and decal, not full wraps, but like car
Okay.
decals, signage for trailers,
Okay.
any kind of like truck trailer, that kind of stuff for it. Also, businesses, window signage and decals for that. So
That's
we needed the
huge.
extra. It is. And so now we have the bays where we can pull those in and do those on a regular basis. So, in addition to all of our custom apparel and our lasering and signage, we've added that to it. So, that's pretty exciting. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
exciting.
actually is. So like let's say someone has a landscaping business and they have a dump trailer or something. It
Yes.
could have some sort of logo
Yes.
and some phone number information on the side
Yep.
of that. That's really awesome. Then if you have a storefront brick and mortar, you want to have some signage on the front windows or, or
Yes.
something seasonal even, like every season you want to switch it up a little bit. I think that when someone just does one thing, it eventually just kind of blends in with everything else. But when you keep it mixed up and you keep showing your creativity, you kind of stand out in front a little bit more. So definitely gets a little more attention.
My goal is because we live in such a small area, my goal is to be a one stop shop for you. My goal is to you can probably need as a business, you know what it's like starting up your own business and everything. I can help you with probably 9 out of 10 things. So instead of you going to 10 places, I want to help you print your business cards. Like we do plastic and metal business cards, raffle tickets, posters, that kind of stuff. We can do your apparel. We can do your laser drinkware. We can do your signage. Like, and even if it's something that, because I do have a couple of people, contractors that come in and handle a few things until we can get them fully in house. Let me handle all that for you. That way you can worry about your business and you don't have to stress about when the printing is going to get done and when all of these items are going to come together. That's my job. So it's a little bit of catering to the businesses and providing them a one-stop solution. And that's where I like to give back. Like if I can take on the stress so you don't have to, I'll do that. So, and it's fun. Like I like giving you solutions. Actually, I do have a package coming for you very shortly too. So
I'm excited. I'm really
me
excited.
too.
Just to touch base on something that you said there, and I think it's really important. A lot of people kind of overlook this, but let's say you're a business owner and you own a hair salon and you're trying to cut as many people's hair as possible. You want to make people look beautiful, make them feel comfortable being the best versions of themselves. that doesn't mean they might be the best barber or the best beautician, but that doesn't mean they're the best, like, in management or the best in,
Right.
sourcing or outsourcing, certain type of products and stuff. So, in order to give your customers your all, sometimes delegating some of that stuff to a third party vendor, such as what the Snark and Wild
Correct.
Rose, you're able to take some of that pressure off your shoulders, focus on just taking care of your customers, and let someone else help take care of you and your customers. So, I think that's important that you're doing that. I think that's great that you advocated that in your last comment there. So I just kind of wanted to touch base and just shine the spotlight on that just a little bit more because that's important and a lot of people overlook that.
Well, look at the again, most of the businesses are small to medium-sized businesses, right? And honestly,
Correct.
most of them are small businesses. And so they don't have the resources and it takes I think a business owner, entrepreneur, manager literally wears 10 hats, right? You're doing sales, billing, customer service, marketing. So it's a lot and you don't know where to turn. And so like I do work really hard at trying to provide that customer service for anybody that we do business with because it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot to handle.
It's a lot of hats to wear. So
It is
how do you stay creative in the grind of all things, right? Because you guys have multiple
chunky.
business
No,
opportunities.
I'm kidding.
So I know. So but really what's behind it? Like how do you continuously push the bar? Like you raising the bar of creativeness. Like you want to be unique and you want to stand out. So how do you continuously do that? You have like a special
I don't
reset or what do you
want
do?
to. I don't. I don't like to be bored and I don't like to be sitting around doing it like nothing. Like I feel like we all have a purpose. I don't always know what my purpose is. I've been coming to the realization that it's helping other people and sometimes it's in serious matters and sometimes it's just trying to help them solve their problems. So I think it's just the need to not want to be bored. Like I what are you going to do, right? Like I don't like to really travel or um go places. I don't like shopping, so I like to work and I like to help other people. So, um, we find inspiration in everything. We find inspiration in people's stories, their lives, their businesses, and we have no shortage of ideas. We literally have a list probably 10 miles long that we haven't gotten to in a year of all the things that we want to
Oh
do.
my.
It
That's
is.
awesome.
It is, but it's frustrating because like you want to get to all of these things, but you can only do so much in a day. So, I don't know. Like I said, we just find inspiration from everywhere. So,
New customer walks in the door, they have a new idea, all of a sudden, all right, we're
100.
reinventing the wheel on this. We never even thought about that before. And
Yeah,
this is now, I like that challenge when it comes to meeting new people because they bring their own story. They bring their own, you know, they're looking for something to be bridged there, like some sort of gap or a problem
right.
that they have. They need it addressed. And they've pretty much scratched their head bald trying to figure it out on their own. So now they're trying to like reach out to someone else and say, like, can you help me with this? Whether it's custom apparel or whether it's someone trying to design a shed, for example, like
Right.
someone else has a need. And as a felicitator, you want to bridge that gap. You want to help them in some way or another. Like you said, either just conversation or helping them solve a problem that, they're trying to figure out. That's pretty cool.
But have you ever noticed it's harder to work on your own things than somebody else's? It doesn't matter if it's a product, a problem, or whatever it is, like, you will come to me and we'll talk about, like, "Oh, that's really easy, just do this and this and this." I'm doing my own stuff and I'm like, "Ah, I don't think I should do that, we can't do that." You're so hard and critical on yourself, and
Absolutely.
so I think providing that solution and even sometimes just having a conversation, like you said, about it, will get you to inspire your own solution sometimes. But yeah, it's one of those things where we are way too hard on ourselves and too critical. So bringing that to the table for someone is so much easier. I'll solve your problems all day long. I don't want to work on mine, but I'll solve yours all day long.
I totally understand what that's like. Like, I'm ADHD, so, like, my mind's 100 miles per hour. I mean, I'm not as physically active, so it's like when I hit the ground running, I'm not physically running, but I want to be,
Your mind
So,
is.
yeah, and
But
my
even
mind always is.
my conversations with you, I will be like, "Oh, I don't know about this," and you're like, "No, just this, and this," and you're rattling off those things. I was like, "Well, that was way too easy," and it's just so much easier to help somebody else.
100%, 100%. And I think that's where connection kinda comes into play, right? Where
Yeah.
a lot of people, they kind of feel like, I don't feel like I'm where I want to be at, so I'm just not going to pursue this yet. But realistically, it's a matter of perception. And then when you allow someone else's perception, when they're positive, to shine in a little bit, it's just
Right.
like they kind of like guide the path a little bit and lead the way. Like, actually, it's not as difficult as it is. We're kind of just tripping over our own feet. We're critiquing ourselves a little too much or a little too hard, and we needed to be more fluid, more positive, and just kind
Yeah.
of let things flow. So I think that's kind
You
of where
know,
connection comes into play there.
with that being said, I think we're also too hard on ourselves for being too hard on ourselves because, listen, that's a sign that you care. If you
Right.
didn't give a flying flip, you would just let it roll off your back and move on to the next thing, right? When you are
100%.
overthinking those things, it's because that you do care about something, somebody, like it matters. And so that it's kind of a good trait to have as long as you don't overdo it. But yes, surrounding yourself with positive people and situation is huge. I think honestly, if that would be my one piece of advice to anybody for anything, whether it be a relationship, a job, a business, you need to surround yourself with good people because people can drag you down really quick and easy, but they can lift you up just as easy.
Right. The dreamers, the people that are dreaming, that are trying to
Yeah,
fly, they'll pick you up and help
yeah.
carry you a little bit, you know?
And here's the thing. So you try to fly and you crash a couple of times. Keep doing it until you figure it out,
Right?
right?
Rock bottom's always a good platform to start.
Right. You
That's
always have a starting point again when you hit the
right.
ground, right? Oh,
100%.
now I know where I'm starting from again.
100%. Yeah, I was kind of reflecting on some of the stuff, about Charlie Kirk that had been happening with a friend of mine, and it's just like, kinda like getting into the podcast thing, it's just like, I wanna make an impact. I wanna help people beyond my 4 walls, and when I
Yep.
see community leaders and business owners like yourself, you're doing the same thing, right? So the podcast, the concept behind it is to connect with people just like you and discuss what's happening in your community, what contributions that you can offer or services that you can offer, um, and just help people make that connection. So, in honor of Charlie Kirk, one of the things that I wanted to do was try to do a little bit better every day, be a little bit better of a person every day. That man lost his life, trying to advocate for all of us. So I feel like I kind of owe it to him to just like be more courageous and just like get on the camera and just do this thing, rather than talk to people about it. Cause I have phone calls with people every day and we talk about important things and how people can do things better. But I think that connecting and just slowing it down and just taking it down a notch and just one on one, let's just share our minds with everyone. And I think that it's a more sincere connection.
It is. You hit really hard for me too, and I'm glad that you brought that point up because I never even knew about him up until about maybe 2 weeks before the event. I don't know if you were allowed to say what happens, like, even on podcasts, but, I had just started coming across his videos, and so when it happened, it hit me hard, and I was like, "Why is this hitting me so hard?" I didn't know him, I haven't been watching him for, like, 10 years like other people have, but what I realized is and maybe I said it sarcastically so many times that I started to believe it, but maybe you would come up to me and say, "Oh, I'm having a lot of hard times with my kids or this my wife doesn't understand." And I'd be like, "Oh, sounds like a you problem. Ha ha ha." And then I started realizing, you know what? Everybody's problems are my problems to a degree, right? You're in charge of your own life. But let's say you are having a problem with kids and it's something at school, um you should be learning and figuring out what's going on because is it just a you thing at home? Is it a school thing? Is it a relationship thing? There could be so many things that are happening and people are trying to reach out to get some support and we're just blowing it off because
Right.
it's not my relationship, it's not my kids. Be there, listen, see what you can do to help because I think there's a lot of ways that we can help that we don't realize, and listening and finding the problems is the first step, right?
It's a big part of the first step is listening and just paying attention to what people are trying to say. Sometimes it's not even in their physical words, it's just in their body language or the way that they
Yeah,
carry themselves. You can tell that they just look depleted or they just look sad or
right.
they've lost that umph, like
Yeah,
they're lacking that motivation or that positivity because they either come from a toxic home or environment or workplace. And they just feel defeated by life. So trying to, instead of like trying to push it off, like, all right, well, and I used to do that too a little bit. I used to be like, oh, well, like, sorry you're going through that tough time. Like, I'll say a prayer for you,
Right,
like, and that used to
right,
be like just that. But now I'm like, maybe I can listen to it a little bit more. It's not like they're trauma dumping on me. It's not like they're just, trying to
right.
they're trying to vent for a purpose. They're trying to get some sort of feedback. And obviously they must confide in me to hope that I would give them something that they can take, and run with. So I try to give a little bit more feedback. I don't have
And
always the best things to say.
you do have to be careful though because you said it perfectly. You can't just be their outlet to bring down and load you with negativity and all that. Like
Correct.
there's a fine line between venting and needing some help or
And trauma dumping.
trauma dumping. Yeah, and you don't want to go there because
No.
most of us, if we really do care, will take that on, and then we will live with that for the rest of the day or week, and they're going about their day going, "Huh, that was cool." Like, I got that off my chest.
So, like, I can advocate this because I was a person that dealt with severe clinical depression, and I was on antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. They had me on like 7 different pills, and I absolutely despise medications. I don't even trust doctors half the time, to be honest with you.
Same.
100% medication free, 2 years without alcohol and nicotine. So I'm doing pretty good on my own, trying to eat a little bit
Good
healthier.
job.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to trying to advocate for your own health, sometimes it's very scary to like trust someone to talk to about it. I have tried to reach out to some family members when I was going through some challenging times. Like they called the sheriff's department and sent like a welfare check on me. That's not always the solution.
Right.
That doesn't make things better automatically. Like we'll just call the cops on them. Like, Jesus Christ, like,
Hey,
please don't ever
thanks.
do that to people. If you care about someone, invite them
Yeah.
out for coffee or for lunch or to have a one-on-one with them. I think that, throwing, like, a white flag up in the air, like, "Hey, this person needs help, save their ship," kinda thing isn't the solution. Don't call the cops on people. Try to make an impact if you can safely, of course.
Right.
Like, obviously, not every situation is the same. Don't walk into danger, you know?
100%. And there's things that you can do that you physically don't have to be a part of too. I just started creating some shirts that just for me to wear for my personal self. I started putting like the sexual abuse and domestic abuse hotlines on the back of them
That's awesome.
because that way, when I'm going out and about, right now, if somebody needs that, because if you are in one of those situations, what are the chances you're Googling that or on your
Right.
phone, computers? Because
They could be scared
normally,
too.
100%, and you don't want a trail of that, and I'm hoping let's say I reach just one person with one of these days that I'm out wearing that. That makes a difference. They didn't have to look me in the eye, they didn't have to ask me for the number, I didn't have to approach them with a card or something like
That's
that.
awesome.
Um, I don't know. I don't have all the answers and I don't know how to support everybody in especially the really serious situations, but I feel like also getting resources and information out to people can be helpful. So sometimes if you can't listen or you can't physically take somebody somewhere or maybe there's other things that we can do like checking in on them, right? Sending a text, "Hey, how is it doing?" Because how many people don't ask for help?
Right.
We all say we've all and I've said it too, "Hey, if you need anything, reach out." And I actually told somebody I heard 2 other people talking, they were friends of mine, and one of them said to the other, "Hey, if you need something, let me know." And I said, "Well, you obviously know she needs help, so why don't you just jump in and do it?" And then I was like,
Right.
"Oh, shit, I should be doing that too." Like,
Right.
certain people do need some help, jump in and do it. No one likes to ask. I don't know.
Right.
It's
It
hard.
could it could be
Life is hard
uncomfortable.
enough.
It could be
Yes,
uncomfortable to step out of that, like, comfort zone and ask for help. That's some
right.
people are very prideful, and I've learned that pride can get a man killed. So, you
I don't
definitely,
even know if it's pride. Sometimes it's pride, sometimes it's embarrassment, sometimes people
right?
feel like they're weak or a lot of people don't want to burden somebody else. Like,
Right.
"Oh, Mariano, I'm sure you're busy and you got a lot going on. I don't want to bother you with my problems." Right? And I think that's what most people are,
I've had
I
friends call
think.
me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, like, "I'm going through a dark time right now. I just need someone to talk to. Like, can you just hang out with me on the phone for a little bit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man." Like, I used to be a tow truck driver for Winnegar Auto in Watoma, so I was, like, around the clock 24-hour support, with towing, so I'm used to, like, keeping my phone near my bed and, like, I would wake
Nice.
up in a moment's notice if it rings. I've had handfuls of friends, I've lost friends due to suicide, overdose, like you name it. I've lost someone from everything, car accident, drinking and driving. Um, yeah, it's a shame. So I kind of don't get behind a lot of like the drinking festivals. Like I know like Wild Rose has its like, I don't know if it's like a German fest or something, or like,
Yeah.
everyone has their own, like, little thing or, like, the wine walk in Watoma. I don't get behind anything that has to do with alcohol. I feel like there's better ways we can be supportive in our community, and there's enough of
Right.
the younger generations getting involved with things they shouldn't be, but then they look at their peers or, their adults around them, and that's all they're doing is just getting drunk and just
Right.
wasting their days away, and I don't get behind any of that stuff, but anything else, I usually try to find some way to like get involved or try to do something. I'm trying to do more now than I was before. So I'm also in a different position now than I was before too. So
You and me both. So I used to be okay. So my mom passed away about 4 years ago,
my
and
condolences.
literally, I was the angriest, bitter person you would come across, right? She was my person. And so everything was F this and F that. I still say the F word, but I'm trying to cut it down. And I was just angry. And I was, all my shirts were very aggressive and very, and now I'm in that, you know what? We do need, again, you're only as good as who you surround yourself with. I want to be the person that you want to be having lunch with or having a podcast with, because you do appreciate the positivity and some of the light and things I can bring. And I'm not all the way there yet. I mean, will always be sarcastic and funny and that kind of stuff, but I'm not angry anymore. And I think I'm learning to try to open up and be there for other people and focus on more positive things. When I was younger too, we went out to the bars all the time and was drinking and traveling and doing. I don't enjoy that stuff anymore either. And it's just like, what can I do to make a difference? How can I have a better impact? How can I live a more positive lifestyle? And honestly, making those changes has made me happier. I mean, I still have my moments like you. I was also on like antidepressants and anti-anxiety. I don't know how much of it is just life and how much is chemicals these days, but I have noticed a difference, and because I took myself off all the meds and that too, I also am a little weary of all those chemicals, right? Like, I think we're
Good
poisoning
for you.
ourselves, but that's a whole 'nother story, but, so I do still struggle, and I still do have roller coaster days and things like that, but I can tell you, since trying to make those changes, I have been happier and healthier and better, and I want to do more. It's just also trying to learn the people to do it for, right? Because there's so many people looking to take advantage of
Right.
your kindness and what you can do and what you can offer, and you still have to protect yourself in that instance too. But yeah, it does make a difference. It
And
really
I think
does.
it kind of starts with like, again, we had talked about how like sometimes we're just too critical on ourselves, or
Mhm.
we want things to be so perfect that a lot of times that we don't do things because they're not. So it kind of starts with like forgiveness in ourselves for being, too judgmental towards what we
Mhm.
believe it should be like. And then, just being grateful that like, all right, well, we are here. Be grateful that we had those experiences with those family members, that we were able to make as many cherished memories that we did make. Our creator God determines all these things for us. It's not for us to understand. It's just for us to know and learn from. So I've lost both, all of my grandparents are no longer with me. And I feel like they were like some of the biggest inspirations into who I became now. I am today, not so much my mom and dad. They were kind of great examples on like, here's what not to do, like, here's what you
Right.
don't want to turn out like. Shout out to mom and dad for, creating me and bringing me into this world. But I
Right.
mean, everyone could do a little bit better job, so myself included.
Well,
But I think that it
but you
starts
can
with
use
forgiveness.
you can use things that have happened to you as an excuse or a motivation.
Right.
Right? And I've fallen into both. I've done the poor me, why did this happen to me? Now I'm in the philosophy of, you know what? Do better then. Be a better example, be a role model to like other kids and younger generations, and try to be there and support them and help them and understand them, because you know what? I would not want to grow up in the world of today than what I grew
Wow.
up in.
I couldn't even imagine what it would be like.
No.
No.
No. I really couldn't. So, you know, a lot of these people using it as an excuse, that's on them. Like, I think you're just looking for a way out or whatever, you can do better.
100%. I agree
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I had a kid that
Yeah.
just graduated high school last year, and he's my son, so he's kinda like my doppelganger, my mini me, right? And, just very proud to see where his progression was over the last 4 years. He's attended Watoma from freshman to senior, and, like, his grades the first year were a little iffy, but new school district, new place, that can kind of happen.
Right.
But he got on it 2nd year, like, as a sophomore, he got on the ball a little bit more and really paid attention to his grades, and I took the Xbox away for a little bit too here and there, just to kinda encourage him,
Right.
like, "Do better, you need to do better," like, "I'm a single dad, I need you to be a reflection of that single dads can do it too." So at the time, I had 3 kids living at home with me, the children from my 12-year marriage, Dylan, Macy, and Kira, and it was challenging trying to be a single parent, but being a single parent, working a full-time job, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always trying to help other people
Yeah.
and create things or do something new and different. So you can burn yourself out pretty quick trying to juggle life. What kind of
So
what kind of opinions do you or feedback do you have on that?
I don't even have kids of my own. I love kids, but I've never wanted any of my own because of what you just said. I'm terrified. I was terrified of trying to make them morally, you know, positive and do the right things and not mess them up. And I just was too afraid to take it on. And when I see parents, whether they have 1 kid or 10 kids, I don't know how you do it. I can barely keep myself together and on track. So running around with a bunch, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I give parents mad props for even going through and trying it. I do try to be a role model with all the other kids in my life. There are a lot of kids in my life. I have nieces, I have nephews. I have friends' kids that I love and adore and would do anything for. Um, but I try to be that balance. I also try to be that person who is straight up with them. Like I will tell a 3-year-old that life sucks. Like it's not going to get be hard, but if you wanna talk about it and we can do something about it, I
Right.
will. I will help you, but I don't want to lie to them. I don't wanna sugarcoat it.
That's
But I
important,
al
I
and I
think.
als it is, because here's the thing, you know why most kids don't wanna go to their parents? They're not afraid of them yelling at them. They'll take the yelling every how many times you yell at your kids, right? We
Right,
we all do it. That's not what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the disappointment. They're afraid of letting you down. They're afraid that they failed you. That's what they don't want to
right,
deal with. And so I try to always be a sounding board that if one of these kids does want to come and get something off their chest because they're afraid to talk to their parents, that they still have somebody to talk
right.
to. Because you want them to do a positive, responsible thing and not drinking, drugs, gambling, vandalism, or hanging out with the wrong
Reckless
crowds.
driving, anything,
Right,
the sky's the
right,
limit in that area.
right. And it doesn't matter whether you're a good parent or a bad parent, they still don't want to disappoint a parent. And so that's hard. I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't. Mad props.
Trial and error. Trial and
Right?
error.
Well, that didn't work.
Yeah, I always tell new
I
parents
try
because
to
every
bribe
time I
them.
see
That's really my thing. I bribe them.
bribe
Candy,
'em.
money, gifts. I'm just gonna bribe them.
Right. It's like stacking the deck with positivity, a little something,
Yeah.
something to kinda make them happy.
Yeah.
Every time I see a new couple, new parents, at, like, Walmart or, in public, I'm just like, "Oh, that's your first one." I can tell by, like, how young their face looks. I'm like, "First one, huh?" I'm like, "That's exciting." I'm like, "If I can give you one piece of advice, don't take being a parent too seriously. You're going to learn as much from this experience as the child is. And every time you have another child, it's not going to be the same experience.
It's
It's not the same
not.
kid. The everything from, prenatal care to delivery, that's a whole different experience. Every labor is different. So, like, take it with a grain of salt. A lot of people, especially your parents, you're going to feel a lot of pressure coming down from you on what to do and what not to do. Like, it's a learning curve. It'll come
It is.
naturally. Give it time. Don't take everything that everyone's telling you as like, it has to be this way. And they're like,
And
thank you so much. Like, oh, I just needed to hear that from somebody because everyone that they're
right.
hearing it from is like, you better do this or don't go out in public for the first few months. Let that baby's immune system, like all kinds of stuff.
It's funny you say that because I was doing a mini rant to somebody just at this morning actually. I was like, "Oh, really? really love how the Karens and the Richards of the world act like they're not going through the same thing as us, right? Like,
Right.
and it doesn't matter what age level you are or anything. No, oh, my marriage is great. We don't ever fight. Bullshit. My
Right.
kids are perfect. They do everything. Bullshit. Like, I mean, come on. We're all
Right.
getting older. We're learning. We're changing. We're evolving. We're just all winging it. Like,
Right.
so
100%.
though, yeah, that just cracks me up that they think,
They're walking saints, but they
yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah. I didn't
I
want to
get it.
be mean or vulgar, so I didn't want to say
Right. No,
anything.
I
But
get
yeah,
it. I get it. Well, the point of the podcast is from positivity. So, I mean, sometimes we've got to kind of walk
right,
close with that fine line of like,
right.
here's what you shouldn't do because this is a negative Nancy trait. We want to be positive Patricias. So, this is what we would like to
Right.
see
So how
happen.
about encourage and support and uplift instead of criticize? Like come
100%.
at me with some solutions or some positivity and suggestions instead of just being, well, that's not the way to do it, or how
Right.
horrible of a person are you because you let them have whatever, they're on their iPad or they're this, they're that. Okay, well maybe get involved more or do different things or live your life your way and let somebody else live theirs. I don't
100%.
understand this mentality of if I don't agree with you, I should make your life a living hell. That's what I
Right.
don't agree with.
100%.
I don't agree with that.
100%. And if you're going to come at me with some sideways with some sort of an issue, be prepared for that constructive criticism. Be prepared for me to say something that is going to challenge, the status quo a
Yeah.
little bit because if you want to be around outspoken or bold individuals, you're gonna get that tail end every now and then if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Like we're not always gonna be sweet and spice and all nice, right? Sometimes we're gonna give them a little bit of that hard school of hard knocks, lesson
Yeah.
that they're gonna need to hear. Like someone has to say it. You're like, sometimes,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna put that hat on. I'm gonna be that guy right now. But I'm gonna do it
If
from
I
a
need
place of love.
if I need to be a real asshole, I just tell my husband to do it.
Like
I'll
I
be
can
like, I
solve this with
really
one
need
phone call.
yeah. Hold on, I got this.
Un momento, por favor. Speed
I'm not
dial.
that mean, but I got somebody. Hold on.
Hey, folks, Sam here. I
Right?
love it.
He'll jump in sometimes too, and he'll be like, "Hey, do you need me to handle that for you?" And I'm like, "Calm down. No, I got this. Well, you
He's
just tell
like,
me if you want me to handle this, I'll handle it."
I
I'm like,
love
"No,
that.
no, I'm good. I
No,
got
he's got
this."
he's got an amazing personality, and I follow his
Cool.
his posts and stuff. And maybe at some point in the future, we'll have another podcast episode where maybe he'll chime in or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you can bring some of
He'll
the
just take
staff
it
in,
over.
like Iris or anyone, to kind of
Yeah,
talk about some other things, give a behind the scenes perspective on what's happening
yeah.
at What the Snark. And I think that kind of gives the community like a true taste of what's happening around them and within their community as well.
Well, we try really hard to one keep our names out of the spotlight because I believe in trying to give back. So I'm a big believer in our fire, rescue, EMS. I feel like those are the people that don't get the recognition that they deserve or the fundraising efforts that they deserve just because you if you're not in a or in a stressful situation or in distress, you don't think of these people ever, right? And then when you are in that situation, you're like, oh my God, where are they? How come we don't do this, that, or the other thing? And so I try to any chance I get to help out like our fire departments or our rescue and EMS, like I am all about that. I'm a big animal lover, so I want to try to do more with like the humane societies and things like that. I can't have all the dogs. My husband won't let me have them. Um, you know, so I do try to give back. He is a huge supporter of, he's paid off lunches. He has bought snow apparel for the kids that didn't have them for winter. He has, um, the
That's so
countless
awesome.
things he's fixed and put into, and I don't really like to say a lot of it because I also don't want people that are just looking for that to reach out, but it is important. Like there are a lot of very good causes that people don't really pay enough attention to, and we should. Again, these things are our problem. When your if your house is burning down, don't you want the fire department to have the equipment that they need? Do you not want
And the
the
training,
EMS?
and the training.
Yes, that's yes, but they think that's like they just did a training not too long ago about something in a granary, like on a like you know, the big feeders that drop the corn in them or whatever.
Okay.
What if
Yep.
somebody fell in one of those, right? How do you get them out? And like all these things are really important, and I know some things are more important to me because of my experiences in history versus yours. But that's where we all need to step up and do a little bit more, right? I mean, if it means helping somebody else get through something, why would you not want to be there? I don't know.
100%. And I definitely think that the first responders, EMS, fire department, and some selective police and sheriffs, definitely
We like to
are
watch football,
unspoken
PD.
heroes. I tiptoe around some of that yet,
Yeah,
just
I know.
because of
Well, I
light
said
of
we like
search.
to watch football, PD.
Yeah, yeah. I do like the Watoma PD. Chief
Yes.
Mott, he's a really nice
Chief
guy. I've
Mott is
had a few
stellar.
conversations with him myself. But they're
Yes.
definitely unspoken heroes. And growing up in the city of Chicago, there was a time where, we would see the same officer on patrol every night. It was like a routine. So we knew it was like, oh, it's officer, this guy, or it's officer that guy. And they would get out of the car, come play basketball with us kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I moved to a different part of Chicago where it was like every time you seen a law enforcement officer, it was more of like a like everybody like, needs to get out of here. Like you don't know what's about to happen kind of thing.
Right.
So it's kind of scary. So a lot of people are very privileged to have the officers and the personnel that we have in our safety teams there in Wild Rose and Washera County because those people are everyday people. Just a lot of them are volunteers, so they're there as
Yeah.
with their free time to help,
Right.
which is also pretty important. So I seen that Tony had the Washera area fire department there doing a fire extinguisher thing. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Then they had the American flag hanging there. I'm just like,
Yeah.
anything American pride right now? Yes, please more of it. Like, hey, fly those flags. Full staff. Let's be proud to be Americans and let's be proud of where things are. Like, I know, like with the Charlie Kirk thing, there's a revival that was started. A lot of people are like
Yeah.
getting in touch with themselves and realizing that, like, hey, I need to live life a little bit less seriously and more for love and for compassion and less for like what I desire, or how I want it
Yeah.
to be. Um, so I think that's pretty important to like kind of shed the light on other people, just like you are doing, within your community. I'm taking the opportunity to do that here. So I get to shine the light on you who's already helping your community. So it's awesome. I'm not doing half the hard work. I mean, I'm just talking. I'm just the guy that talks a lot. So you guys are
You
the true heroes. You guys are the ones helping people and making an impact every day. I'm just another guy that I'm a jar of clay. I will be molded by God as many times as he needs to mold me to figure out my purpose here. So I'm hoping
as
that
long
this
as
is a
you're
part
having
of it.
fun doing it.
I'm having a
You
blast.
yeah.
Having a blast. I hope I sell a bunch more sheds, but you know, my my new thing is like this
Where
morning
are your
I
sheds?
what's that?
Where are you again? Where are your
I'm
sheds
I'm in
located?
Poynette, Wisconsin, so I'm like about 20 minutes north of Madison,
Oh, okay.
roughly. So I'm a little
Hmm,
bit south of you guys. Now I'm about like 52 minutes south of you guys, but I had to stay far enough away to where I'm a good distance from Tony so I don't
right.
interfere with her sales, because the shed
You'd go
queen's
missing.
dominating.
I
Yeah.
know,
I'd
you'd
go
go missing.
missing.
You'd be like, "I'm gonna
She
squash him like a
yeah.
bug."
She absolutely adores me, so I don't feel like I'm in any danger anyway.
Not
Tony
right now.
yeah,
No.
not right now. Not until I start touching close to a mill, and then all of a sudden, I'm gonna have a target on my back of some sort. But no, I love it. I'm really blessed to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to have the platform that I have to be able to communicate and to have these conversations with awesome people like you. So I'm really grateful that we
I
had the time
appreciate it.
today to jump in on this call and make it happen. We're at 43 minutes right now. Just
Oh
like
my
that,
goodness
time
gracious.
flies.
It
Like
does
that's a
fly.
full episode right there.
There you go.
And that's something like just like I remember when I was doing this with Tony, she's just like, wow, you know what? This wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Like I was super nervous about it. And it was like, it's just us having a casual conversation. It's like we forget
Yeah,
the audience is even there, but it's all for them.
definitely.
It's for them to know that we care, for them to know that we're here and that we're
Most
going to continue to
I'm
make an
sure most.
impact. What's that?
I've said most of them. I don't care about all of them.
Right, right. Just the good ones, right?
Yeah, just the little ones.
I
Where's the
I
list? I'm
I
like
read
Santa
some
Claus.
I read something that said something about, like, people that are sharp and people that are like butter knives. You don't wanna hang around butter knife people, and I'm like, "That's the most weirdest analogy I've ever heard." But it's funny, right? You wanna be around people that are sharp and that are constantly
Mm,
sharpening themselves every day. So iron sharpens iron. Now that's a quote
it
from the
is.
Bible. And, yeah, I mean, like, I don't wanna be around dull people. I wanna be around people that are vivid and clear and transparent and just they're uniquely themselves and they're unapologetically, sorry for not being like everybody else. Like I want us to be proud to be who we are. I want us to advocate that every day and to try to make an impact. So
But
I'm
doesn't
glad
that
that
push you to be better though, and to inspire you and motivate you to do more or differently or step up in your own way? Not that you have to, again, people confuse that with competition. No,
right,
it's bettering yourself and being motivated by seeing what somebody else is doing as well. Like I'll look at something and go, "Oh, what could I do? Because that's a really great idea. How
right.
can I do better and be better?" And I love that. I really do love that.
Did you see that the Johan's Barn Grill's been doing a lot of videos now with like live like Johan's doing some crazy things with like fishing for Fish Fridays and like he's making wearing like a taco outfit for, south of the border Taco Tuesday.
That's funny.
I think
You know
Tony
what? Coming
inspired
up
a
with
lot of people.
content is hard. Coming
Oh
up with
yeah.
content is
Yeah, it's definitely it takes a lot to constantly stay at that creative edge, and instead of following trends, you're creating your own because there's nobody around us that's doing this stuff. There's very few people that are doing it. So I'm like,
yeah,
Tony, start doing live streams. It's like digital rubbernecking, as I call it. I'm like, even the people that don't like you, they're gonna watch it because they want to see what's happening in their hometown. Maybe they're gonna see someone in the background that they know.
yeah,
Who knows?
I don't know.
Just nosy people. Let them watch.
Mm,
It's a chain link fence, bub. You can see
let
what's
'em
happening
watch.
over here. You can watch me water my grass.
Yeah, that's your thing, go for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think that pretty much wraps it up, unless there's anything else that you want to touch base in here before we
Mm,
call it a night.
nope, it was fairly painless, I appreciate it.
Yeah. You think you want to come
Yeah,
back on here on and do another episode? I figured like maybe either mid season or toward the end we'll bring you back on and let you talk about some new things that you might have going on and
okay,
kind of touch base. Give it like a sponsor bonus episode where you can like bring like Iris on or something and talk about other
sure.
things that you're involved with that maybe you can also shine the spotlight on someone else that you think deserves it,
I think
like
that would be great, yeah.
yeah.
You know what? That woman freaking hustled. They just bought a second twice as big trailer,
Yeah, I've seen
all
it.
just
I've seen
from
it.
just this year. Like, they took all their proceeds from the summer and paid it off. Like,
That's
you can
awesome.
do things, and so they work here full time, and they're doing that on the side. On the side. Like,
That's
you can
awesome.
do whatever you want. Yeah,
The sky's
so
the limit. Well, we live
it
in the
is,
greatest country in the world that allows us these
right?
freedoms to be able to pursue
I
our
don't know.
happiness.
You're taxed to death. Taxes and
Yeah,
insurance are kinda
right.
getting to me. I'm getting a little
Yeah,
stressed
no,
at that.
we're definitely taxed. We're taxed for
Yeah,
the vehicles we buy, we're taxed for the roads we drive on, we're taxed for the fuel we put into them. I agree. There's gonna be an air
I need to
tax
take
soon
them
here.
tax on my tax.
Your tax on your
That's how
tax.
bad it is.
Like,
Yeah,
you're taking up too much oxygen over there. We're gonna have to charge you a little bit more. There's an oxygen tariff surplus right now.
yeah. We won't get into that conversation, but yeah, we
Right.
should I would definitely do this again with you. I appreciate it.
I definitely think we should. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's going to wrap up today's episode of the Freeman Focus. A big thank you again to Melissa Wood for joining me and sharing her journey and for all the creative energy that she's bringing to the community there at What the Snark in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. And don't forget, What the Snark is our season one sponsor. So they're offering custom gifts, creative and business apparel, and a whole lot of personality there from Melissa. So be sure to check out their online website at whatthesnark.com. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, stay connected, stay creative, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Freeman Focus.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.